Here in this video we will discuss in detail about the homeworld of the predators, their planetary system, their culture within it as well, and some of the history with them and other alien species that has happened in it. So let's get to it. The planet, the enigmatic predator homeworld of Yautja Prime, has seen minimal screen time in movies and comic books. The information we do have is a little bit contradictory, particularly in regards to the distance from Earth and the surface appearance. In the movie Alien vs Predator Requiem, we see Yautja Prime being an Earth-like planet, but not really similar to that of our planet in many aspects as well. Although it seems that there doesn't appear to be much flora on the planet since it is hot with flowing lava and some cloud cover, there are some forest biomes as well. It makes logical that the planet has a hot climate because the predators enjoy hunting when it's hottest on Earth, and also given that the planet contains at least 2 suns. So 2 sources of heat means a hotter and a more arid climate. So let's take a look at their star system. The planet Yautja Prime orbits around 2 suns. This type of star system is called a binary one. There usually is a bigger star and a smaller star, but sometimes there are 2 of a similar size. Anyway, as we can see in the movie Requiem, there is one star that is a main sequence star resembling our sun, and another which seems to be a red dwarf judging by the luminosity and the size, since the only other red stars would be giants and supergiants, and those supergiants aren't exactly planet friendly, so to say. So the planet Yautja Prime could either orbit one of these stars, just as a moon does to a planet, and then these 2 would revolve around the bigger entity, or the planet would have an orbit much further away from both of them, and it won't be a normal spherical orbit due to the dual centers of gravity. Okay, back to the planet. Let's see its atmosphere and its geography. The surface of the planet appears to be riddled with canyons and mountains. Pyramids resembling those of the original Alien vs Predator movie are among the large stone buildings in the background. There are at least 2 major biomes on the planet, a humid wet rainforest biome and a dry hot desert climate with rivers of pouring lava. The majority of the world's land is probably hot and humid. AVP Requiem indicates that there is still a lot of active volcanic activity with little radioactive zones in the volcanic regions. As for the air, it would be similar to our own with a variable percentage of oxygen and nitrogen or another inert gas as a major constituent, and that we can infer by the predator's ability to breathe our air and function perfectly without a mask. So what about life on that planet? Let's see its life forms. And as we have seen, there's not much vegetation in the planet, but there could be pockets of jungle biomes scattered around the planet, which would be necessary to regulate the oxygen levels in the atmosphere. In Predator Homeworld comics, we see a barren rocky planet where predators live in tribal communities. Anyway, we do know that there are at least 8 species of animals, including the predators, and the others being the hellhounds, the predator dogs, the predator horse, blood pigs, the flying bird-like Gypsas, the phoenix-like Vidrak, and the deadly Quetzalrich that are a part of the blooding ritual of the Yautjas. So these are the life forms of Yautja Prime. Now let's go to its ancient history. Let's start with the rule of the Amengi. So apart from the physical characteristics of the planet, we also have its diverse and rich history, which we have learned from the movies, comics and games. So thousands of years in the past, when the predators were a more primitive species, the planet was invaded and colonized by an alien species called the Amengi. The Amengi enslaved the primitive locals known as the Hish, which were Neanderthal-like versions of the predators, a less evolved form. The Hish were brutally governed by the Amengi, who employed them as slaves, amusement and even food. These aliens are an insectoid race that to a human would resemble man-sized cockroaches fitted with various technological devices on its body. But due to their living in luxury, their ability for war faded away and an uprising took place. Now we come to the uprising of the Hish. So these Hish were ancient ancestors of the species who were present several millennia before on Yautja Prime. The Hish supposedly did not differ too far in appearance from the modern-day Yautjas or predators, though they were shorter and far more primitive and intellectually underdeveloped. But there was one. His name is Kale, and he was an especially huge and cunning Hish who continues to be a legendary figure in Yautja lore. He coordinated the cruel and bloody slave insurrection that resulted in the swift downfall and killing of the Amengi. The Amengi were completely defeated by Kale and his rebels despite having superior technology, and those who survived were made into slaves themselves. Thus the tables have turned. The Hish would go on to seize the Amengi's technology for themselves, adopting it into their own culture and eventually creating an unusual blend of both advanced science and primeval savagery. So for thousands of years on, the Yautja would slowly adapt and evolve, aided by the technology left behind by the Amengi, and they would become the ruthless and deadly predators that we have in present times. They would spread out to other worlds and encounter as well as hunt down many alien species including the xenomorphs, river ghosts, and sometimes the space jockeys and us humans, which might be their most deadly prey, a topic which we will discuss in another video. Anyway, the predators would for many millennia cultivate a strong culture based on clans led by leaders and matriarchs, and sometimes on occasions even having a supreme leader or a king. But all that will change in the 21st century though. Civil War. In the movie Predators of 2010, we get a glimpse of the Yautja's current social and political problems. As well as in the games and comics, there are bad bloods which are been rejected or exiled from society, which were heretics or a different subspecies of individuals who have disgraced the culture and branded as heretics. So the berserkers, the super predators of the movie, were examples of them, and it seems that they, as the bigger ones, were even hunting the hunter subspecies, the smaller ones. As was stated in the movie, the blood feud would have become a long civil war, and with the predator species seen in Predator comics set in the future, it seems that the smaller ones, the ones with clans and all, would have come out as victorious. But that is all we have to say about what has happened in the Yautja prime homeworld of the Predators. So yeah, take care fam.